Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek.Aloud. It's Thursday night. It's 8:30 p.m. So it is the Gaming Enforcement Agency. Myself, top slotting it. Bully is away on assignment in Tokyo for the Tokyo Game Show. But third slotting it, as always, holding us up there. Bully, how you doing, sir?
Good. Unky's away at the Tokyo Game Show, so hopefully he can give us a bit of a run when he does get back. But big show for us, and obviously we'll kick it off with one of the big releases for this week.
We will indeed. It'll be Games Interrogation. We've got 5 this evening, then the Most Wanted, then the news of the week. Bully, how many newsroom doors have you kicked open?
Only a couple this week, but probably go over some of the state of play that streamed, this morning Australian time or the afternoon American time if you're a day behind.
I love it. With that said, we are on June. First up this evening, Games Interrogation and Deliberation. First up this evening, it is, I'll go out on a limb and say, the very excellent Borderlands 4. I've been playing it on the PS5 Pro. Of particular note, it's a bug that I can't find anyone else reporting online. Keep your eyes peeled in the footage. For some unknown reason, the grass in my version of Borderlands 4 is sitting about a meter above the deck where it should be. It's obfuscating some of those lower critters as they go, but that's the only bug I've come across. It's annoying the bejesus out of me. I've tried uninstalling, reinstalling. I can't appear to fix it. No one else is reporting as an issue, so I'm assuming it's something to do specifically with my PlayStation 5 Pro. That being said, I'm loving my time with it. I'm 10 hours in. I've passed the first, and I haven't finished it, obviously. So as I can tell, the story is structured that there's 3 sort of world boss or main bosses, story bosses, and then I assume the big timekeeper main boss will be the 4th one. I'm one of those 4 bosses down. Loving my time with it. I'm a big fan of the series across the board. Not so much Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, but I'm an old school Borderlands fan, and this game is doing it for me. It's singing on all levels. A few minor tweaks. They've changed a few of the classes up. They've added the Call of Duty slide in, which is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. The one thing they changed, Bully, and I'm just looking for your temperature on this one. Now, back in the day, you'd pick your class, hunter, siren, tank, whatever. And then, you'd unlock that first skill point and it would, add it to, the L1 button. And you'd pop your main sort of primary skill for your class, and then you'd be off to the race and build from there. I think I was level 7 or level 8 before I realized I had to actually assign my main class to the L1 button. I played the first maybe 4 hours without the L1 button main primary sort of fire for my class. I feel like a big goose. Bully, have you gone hands-on? Did you have similar problems, or were you reading the on-screen prompts?
I generally read what pops up, Troy. I know you're a bit averse to it. I'm probably about 20 hours in. I've done pretty much the same as you. The first sort of world boss or main boss out of those 3 that you start with, and then I just got I reckon I did that probably about 10 hours ago, and ever since then I've just been scrolling the side missions and the immense amount of collectibles and all the rest of it. But one thing I've noted that I only just realised about sort of 10 or 15 hours in is that class skill that you've got, there's the 3 skill trees. You can actually reassign them depending on the skill tree that you're putting points into. So it's not just one skill that you've got. There's numerous, like there's the main skill, there's 2 ones that you can unlock under that per skill tree. So there's a multitude of builds that you can sort of work through depending on what your game style is like, what weapons you like, what how you sort of want to play it. So I've got the siren. So I think my sort of ability, I guess, is you can summon a creature to help fight for you, which if you're doing it solo, for me, has been really good because it tends to aggro the enemies towards you. It's almost like a lion or a tiger or something like that. It aggroes towards that, so it allows you to sit back a bit and not probably cop as much damage. So I haven't really. I'm not sure how you're traveling with the difficulty of it, Troy. I'm just doing it on the medium normal level, but really haven't run into too many troubles because I'm not getting group attacked. Which it was funny though because I was reading which are the best builds for solo play, and this was ranked the 3rd worst out of the 4 for solo play. But I found
really?
I found it to be really good because exactly that. What I said is it aggroes the the enemies away from you. It makes it, in my opinion, a little bit easier.
Well, I got to tell you, mate, I've got the I'm the soldier class, and I've got sort of 2 shoulder cannons, if you like, that I pop with the L1 button. And I think it's the first skill, or well, the primary skill is the first skill. The second skill you unlock is if you hit a critical shot while your weapons are deployed, it resets the timer on it. So I've essentially got it in a place where I can be in the middle of a battle with, 12 dudes around me, everyone taking shots. And as long as I'm picking off criticals, my shoulder cannons never go away. So I've sort of got 2 pets backing me up constantly, but they never draw the aggro off me. I'm always the primary target. But with the, what do they call it? The second wind. So if you get knocked down, but then pick off a shot and you get back up, I've been second winding it. And the other big tip I've got to give any viewers out there is get across the Twitter page and look up, what is it? Borderlands 4. What do they call it? Not Steam. It's Swift. Shift. Thank you, Bully. Look up Borderlands 4 shift keys, and every sort of 12 hours, somebody else is putting up another key on there that'll give you a golden key. You can see it on screen right there. You cash in the golden key and you'll get a couple of weapons and a couple of, shield or grenade buffs or what have you. And by doing that, I'm constantly overpowered. So like every day I drop on, I pop 1 or 2 more golden keys in there, re-up my whole armory, and then I'm just out there. And with the second wind ability and the crit chance resets the amount of time my cannons are up for, I am an absolute powerhouse in this game, and I'm absolutely loving it. I love being overpowered, God mode, just running around laying the place to waste. Like, my biggest concern with this game, and I haven't faced it in other Borderlands bullies, I'm sure it's not a problem for many other people, but the icons on the radar are so confusing to me. I had to stop picking up all side quests. Like, the only thing I can have on there is the golden icon, because when you get 8 different blue icons up there, I never know where I'm going, what I'm meant to be doing. It's way too confusing. I've just got to keep the one gold icon up there and just keep mainlining it. But I'm having an absolute blast. This is that first boss we were talking about. I was scratching my head for a bit, before I worked out that the mechanic that introduced about 4 hours earlier and I'd been using extensively on the missions leading up to it was the same mechanic I need to employ here to get damage onto this bloke. But a heck of a lot of fun. I'm absolutely loving my time with it. I love the weapons, and I don't know if you know the names, believe it or not, I'm not reading them, but there's one of the weapon manufacturers that every time you reload, you just throw the empty gun at them and it turns into a grenade and explodes, and then you get a new one magically appears in your hand and you got a full clip again. That gun business is the business.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one that is, but I've come across a couple of others. There was one I recently picked up where your bullets will do less damage than an equivalent level gun, but when you reload, every bullet that's hit the target then explodes on the target, around the target. So you've got ones like that. There's ones that set off lightning chains, and there's other ones that ricochet off your main target to hit one next to it. So there's massive variation in the gunplay, and it's really about finding what works for you and what suits you, because there's guns that I've picked up that are higher level, but they don't have the same and probably the sniper rifle is probably one of the ones that there's your traditional sort of bullet loading ones, and then there's other ones that have like a laser sort of thing that you've got to
charge up.
Yeah, you've got to charge up for half a second before you let it go. Anytime I pick up those, irrespective of whether it's a couple of levels higher than my current sniper rifle, I'll just ditch it and go back to the bullets. I just like the gunplay with that a lot better. So
yeah,
I'm the same as you. I'm really enjoying it. I've loved Borderlands since its introduction. Borderlands 3 though really let me down. Just never really got into it. Wasn't a big fan of it. I just think they overdid a lot of it with trying to jam too much humor into it, that it would just become overly annoying. Like, we all know Claptrap can be annoying at the best of times, but it just to me, it felt like they were just throwing so much like what they considered humor into the game that it actually took away from it. And that's one of the things I've really enjoyed with this one. You don't have Claptrap as a constant companion through the game. He does pop up in side missions, etc. But the only time that you really get that humor is when you actually go into a town or a camp and you're interacting with other NPCs, and you might be getting a quest or something like that. But once you're out in the world and exploring and sort of doing your own thing, you're pretty much left alone. You don't have that constant chatter in your ear. And as I said, really enjoying it. Unlike you, I'm actually a bit of a fan of Tiny Tina's as well. I thought the the last one was really good. That Dungeons and Dragons sort of overworld, and then you hop into levels and all the rest of it. I really enjoyed that one as well. But Borderlands 4, I think last time we spoke, I was sort of sitting on the fence whether I'd get it or not. Was umming and ahhing about it, and thought, I just want to see if it's up to that same level as 1, and especially 2. Given the letdown of 3, but I think I went and got it the day after release, and same thing. For the last week and a half or so, I've thoroughly enjoyed working my way through it, and it's one of those games. It's really easy that you can sit there for 3, 4, 5 hours, put a good chunk of time into it, and then go, okay, I've had my fill of gunplay for now. I'll come back 2, 3, 4 days later, and you don't skip a beat because it's not overly intensive in terms of the mechanical skills or the story or anything like that. It's just to jump in, have a bit of fun, and then jump out again. So I'm really enjoying it as well.
I know you're not a fan of the slide, jump up, shoot mechanics in Call of Duty, Bully. Are you leveraging those mechanics here, or are you just playing it more of a traditional Borderlands without that?
No, I've actually really enjoyed that dodge mechanic that you can use as well. So probably not a lot of sliding and dodging and all that sort of stuff, but it's probably more of a traditional shooter, but really enjoying that dodge mechanic to the side as well. As well as you've got that grappling hook. So in a lot of areas that you get into, you can push R3 down and it will grapple to a different section of, or close to where you are. You can also use that to pick up barrels and things like that to throw at enemies. So both of those together, really enjoying it. But it's not overly, it's not up to that Doom level where you've really got to be jumping and sliding and moving and this constant sort of movement that you have to go through, which for me, I'm not the world's best FPS player. So when you start throwing all these mechanics into it, as well as trying to target your shots and all the rest of it, it just becomes a bit too much for me. So for the fact that you can play it that way if you want to, but you can also play it more traditional and use that dodge button and just basically walk your way around a level and try and avoid attacks as they come. I think it caters to a lot of different tastes in how you like your FPS.
I would agree with that. The other mechanic that is new that we need to mention is the motorbike to get between the areas. I haven't used it on a mission yet, I don't think, but just to rapidly travel, not the fast travel system, but to rapidly travel, summon your mount, jump on the motorbike and go. That's been a breath of fresh air into the Borderlands series that I've quite enjoyed as well. I have no negatives to say on this game other than the bug that I mentioned that I'm pretty sure is just me. That's my only negative on the game. But is there anything that's not working for you in it?
I don't think so. I mean, even little things that you just sort of go, oh, that's annoying me a little bit. I suppose the one thing that I did come up with is I'd really love like a pulse sense type mechanic where you could pulse a short area around you to find some of those collectibles or items that you have to pick up for missions and that sort of thing, because there's quite often it'll give you this area that you've got to search, and then you sort of you could spend 5 or 10 minutes searching around an area trying to find something. Some of the collectibles, for the most part, if you tag it and then it'll direct you on the map, but there's the odd occasion where I've sort of found, well, I'm sitting here where it's directing me to go, but there's nothing here. So I'd really love like a pulse mechanic that was, and it's the same with the enemies as well. Sometimes, especially if it's a crowded area where there's a lot of buildings or different sort of things, you can sit there and you can see it on your radar that it should be just here, but I can't see where it is, whether it's up or down or inside a building, this last enemy that I'm trying to fight. So I'd really love that. Would be a great introduction, I think, just to help you navigate some of that, some of those little, sort of finer points. But apart from that, I'm the same. That's probably my only criticism of it, but really enjoying it otherwise.
Yeah, that's a fair call, mate. I agree with you completely. What do they call it? Detective vision would be handy. The other thing I forgot to mention was they've added a glide. So there's your standard single jump, double jump. And then if you hold the X on the second double jump, you sort of can glide across a bit. That's just another way they've sped up the movement between sort of encounter moments that I've really enjoyed using as well. And sort of trying to grapple up some of those cliff edges is helped by it as well. But big fan of everything about this. As I said, no negatives. 2 massive thumbs up for me. I'm only 10 hours in, but this game is easily for me sitting at a 9, but I'm a big fan of the franchise. So take that with a grain of salt. Where's it sitting for you, Bully?
Probably about an 8 at the moment. Really enjoying it. But it's really good, but it's not that top tier. Like as much fun as I'm having with it, I just don't think at this stage, unless something completely changes, which I don't really expect, it's probably not in that game of the year category for me. But well worth jumping into. From what I can see as well, like if you're the type of player that doesn't have a lot of money to spend on games, and you want value for money, there I can tell you right now, there's tons in it. That sort of first, as you mentioned before, it's an open world area, an open world game, so you don't have those sort of bits that you got to work through. And that first area that you're sort of in, I've only just ventured into the next sort of area beyond that. But like I said, I've spent 15, 20 hours for the most part just in that first area. And then you zoom out and look at the map, and there's another 3 or 4 areas to go. So if you're looking for that value for money, I think this is a great proposition for you. Whether it then by that sort of stage starts to wear a bit thin on outstaying its welcome, I'm not sure. But certainly, as I said, 15, 20 hours in, really enjoying it.
Fair call, mate. All right, that's it for Borderlands 4. Let's move on to Game 2 this evening. I'll hand it over to you, Bully, for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
I thought we'd just throw this one in. I know that Unky's away, and he's probably played, I think last time we spoke, he was either close to finishing or had finished it. So hopefully when he gets back from Japan, he can give us much more of a rundown. But I'll probably put 5 or 6 hours into it. Really enjoying it. I'm really happy with the way that they put it together in terms of Konami redoing, obviously, a Hideo Kojima iconic franchise that they've gone back to the drawing board, and it's not just a retelling or a rehashing of a 20-year-old game. They put extra elements into it. They put different story, not so much story beats into it, but they put different variations or different viewpoints on the story. So there's all that in as well. It does retain a bit of the jank that you have from a 20-year-old game. Like the stealth sections aren't, it's probably hard to describe.
It's no Splinter Cell.
Yeah, they're serviceable, but they're not, it's quite often I found myself sort of slinking around, and then all of a sudden you'd creep up behind an enemy and go to try and incapacitate him, and they turn around and spot you, and then all of a sudden you're in a gunfight, when that's not the way the game's entirely supposed to be played. But visually it looks really good. The cutscenes, we all know that Hideo Kojima loves his cutscenes, and the story that plays out, it's really intriguing, really, really draws you in. As I said, I'm really enjoying it. I'm not sure how much time you sort of spend into it, Troy, but from what I have played in that 5 or 6 hours, really enjoying it so far.
Yeah, so I picked it up, was it last weekend? I haven't had my hands on it for too long. Unfortunately for this game and my playtime with it, I had it at the same time as Borderlands 4. And you know me, Bully, I'm much more an action type gamer. And I sat down, I've done 3 sessions with it. I think I'm 3 hours in. And of that 3 hours, I think I've played for half an hour. There is a good 2.5 hours of cutscenes in that first 3 hours of this game. And with Borderlands 4 sitting right next to it on the old PlayStation 5 dashboard, I've just found myself hitting pause and jumping games just to get me into a bit of the action. I think the last time I played this through was it PlayStation 2, I believe this game originally came out. I reckon I finished it on the PlayStation 2 back in the day. And it's one of those, I remember this bit, I remember that bit, this is cool, but Borderlands 4 is brand new and shiny and sitting right there, and I can be gaming instead of watching cutscenes. So as much as I love Hideo Kojima and the worlds he builds, my trigger finger's just a bit too itchy to really immerse myself in this world at this time. I'm sure it'll strike me at some point, but not just yet. It does look and play great. I love the adaptive triggers. It's all a thing of beauty. I've never seen the game look and run so well. Really excited about this game, but I'm just not patient enough for the cutscenes at this time.
No, that's right. And as I said, we'll get more in depth when we get Unky back. But I think the other thing that really stood out to me, and I know there was it Metal Gear Solid 5? There was, was it? I'm not sure if it was that game, but it was basically they removed Kojima's name off the box art.
That was 5, yep.
And all that sort of stuff. So what I was actually really surprised about, that they have gone almost out of their way to try and rectify that in this game, where it's I reckon I counted 3, 4, 5 times in the opening scenes and the opening credits when you've got everything rolling and the introduction and the opening cutscenes and all that sort of stuff, that it was, based on the game by Hideo Kojima, based on the story developed by Hideo Kojima. Like, they almost went to the point of overdoing it to sort of say, well, yeah, okay, we made a mistake 10 years ago. We understand the influence he's had on this franchise and how good it's been for Konami. And they've almost gone back to say, oh, look, yeah, let's try and do the right thing by him and acknowledge the work that he put into the franchise. Like, we're talking about 5 mainline games plus the 2 NES games and then a couple of spin-offs on that over a period of 30 odd years. So it was a massive amount of time that he spent with the company. It was really good to see that they actually acknowledged that in this game.
Yeah, fair call, mate. I love it as well. Any points, or should we move on into game 3?
Carry on.
All right, game 3. Now, this game came out in December 23, I think. So we're a bit off the pace here. But this is the finals. It's an online FPS. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty. Bully, I don't know if you've fired it up, but there's a event on at the minute for Nuketown that you've got to earn some crazy amount of credits to unlock all the Nuketown awards. I've been playing that, but I actually burnt out on Call of Duty, which is not something I'd say very often. And so I was looking for another online competitive multiplayer shooter. The finals, free to play. As I said, I think it's sort of 18 months old at this point. Runs beautifully on the PS4. It's got a real game show vibe to it. And back in the day when I worked in Tally, I did work on game shows. So it really sings to me on another level. I get right into it. And they've got the destructible environments. Bully, I'm not even sure if you've gone hands-on, but the whole level is destructible. There's, gas canisters and everything, and you got weapons that'll do it as well. But you can really destroy the environment. This game mode, I think it's, cash out or something like this. You have to unlock a vault, and then you've got to carry the cash across and put it in a vault, and then you've got to guard the vault while it extracts and adds to your team credit. But while you're sitting there trying to guard it, people can blow up the level under it and it'll drop down 2 or 3 levels, and then it totally changes the dynamic of the fight. So thoroughly enjoyable game. I can't sing its praise highly enough. And as I said, it's free to play. So it won't cost you anything to check out other than, I think it was around the 63 gig mark to download. It's got your standard battle pass and all that in it. The shooting mechanics are bang on. Like, if you like Call of Duty, this is right there with it from a shooting mechanics standpoint. Looks, sounds great. I think I already said they've got battle passes and all that sort of business in it. A lot of cosmetics, all the standard fare, but the destructible environments and the traversal. Really, this game sets itself apart with those mechanics, and I love the over-the-top announcers at the top and tail of it. Really gets me fired up, and I love it. Bully, have you gone hands-on with this one at all, mate?
I did when it originally came out. It never really sort of captured me in that same vein that Call of Duty did. Like, I sort of got the appeal of it. I understand why. From my understanding, it's actually a pretty popular shooter, online shooter, and has been since it released. As you said, it's almost 2 years old now, and it was one of those things that it might be worth going back to, that I just never really, it never really resonated with me. Like, I get the idea behind it. I get the destructible environments, and that changes the gameplay a lot more than what you play in a Call of Duty or a Battlefield or games of that ilk. But it just, for some reason, it just never really clicked with me, and I never went back to it after probably 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, fair enough. The only tip I'll give to punters out there is I played it originally, and in my first game session, I won every match. I was having a great time winning every match. Turned it off. The next day I came back to it, and ever since, I've played 3 more game sessions since the initial one, and every time after that, I've never won a match. So after your initial install, when you've logged a couple of ranks, then they actually put you in the right tier. So my advice would be, when you first install, just play to your heart's content, because after that, you might be in for a good teeth kicking in for a while until it re-ranks you. I'm still waiting to be re-ranked, but that's not a knock on the game. Thoroughly enjoyable. And it is one where if you had a couple of mates to play with on headsets, you would definitely find yourself in a lot of advantageous situations. As you know, Bully, I play without the headset on and no text chat. I don't want to hear or know about it. Way too many complainers out there for my taste. But 2 massive thumbs up for me. As I said, it's free to play, so I highly encourage anyone who's a shooter fan to check this one out. If for some reason it's gotten by you, All right, Billy, over to you, mate, for game 4 this week. What do you got for us in the viewfinder?
Viewfinder. So I think it was last month that it came out on the PlayStation Plus catalog. Interesting little game. Like basically the premise behind it is you've got this camera. Whatever you take a photo of, you can then use that to change or interact with the world. So you can take a picture of a ledge and then put that ledge in front of you, or you can pick up photos and put them in front of you to then manipulate the world to allow you to make your way through it. It's probably pretty hard to describe, and you might be able to see on screen there where you where you're taking that picture and then trying to adjust it around the world. Like I said, it's probably pretty hard to explain. You like with that one you can see on screen there, it's upside down. If you rotate it around, you'd be able to then use the floor, as you can see there. Then that creates the next section that you can get to. And it really, really big puzzle element to the game. If that's something that interests you, like I think we've spoken about the 3 games so far that are very action packed, very story heavy, very intense sort of gameplay. And a game like this is really good just as a break from those, just to jump into. I sort of find, and the fact that it's free on the PS Plus catalog, and I think it might have been I stand to be corrected, but it was a day and date or day one release onto the platform. So I'm not sure if you've gone hands on with it much, Troy, but certainly I've enjoyed it just for that pure fact of it's just a relaxing, chill game that it does take a bit of brain power to work out some of the later. Like you think you're going all right in the first level or two and working your way through it, and then it becomes quite difficult the more that you sort of get into it. But certainly, a really good game from my point of view, just to break up those intense sort of games that we have been talking about.
Yeah, mate, it's a great puzzle platformer. I'm glad to say there's not a whole lot of 3D platforming challenges for me, so I'm actually able to play it. It's thoroughly enjoyable. It reminds me a bit of, did you ever play Superliminal?
I reckon a little bit. But
it's just kind of like that in your perspective, and when you place an element, it really comes into play. As you say, mate, there's no pressure in this one. Just take your time, solve the puzzle, and move on. So it is a great break from your sort of action-packed games. Palette Cleanser, as you say, does take a bit of brain power sometimes. Got the rewind feature, obviously, so you can make as many errors as you like and just back it up and have another crack. Super playable game. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. As you said, it was free on PlayStation Plus. So if you're already a subscriber, no reason not to check it out. I think if you're not a subscriber, it was $22 or $23. And if you like puzzle games, I'd argue it was even worth that, even if you're not a subscriber. If you're a fan of the genre, definitely pick it up. It's a top-notch game, well produced. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it, and I don't think we're going to get to it here in the footage, but they shift through a whole different bunch of visual genres. You know, there's 8-bit art style, hand-drawn art style. It goes to like, what was that? The original Wolfenstein 3D. Like it looks like a sort of original 3D FPS at some point. So just really vast amount of visual displays they put on, and it's all puzzling and a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy it. 2 big thumbs up for me. It's a great palette cleanser game, as you said, mate. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, yeah, it is. It's there's probably not much more to say apart from that, but it's just, something that was a little bit of left field that some people might look at it and sort of go, oh, there's no guns, not for me. But if that's your thing, just as a bit of a break or just to challenge your brain a little bit, it's certainly well worth a bit of a look at, I think.
Couldn't agree more. 2 thumbs up from me. All right, Bully. Game 5 this week is Baby Steps. Now, the install went up on the channel today. Of note, the game only came out 2 days ago. I think it was the 23rd to launch day one onto PlayStation. I think this is also around the $23 mark if you buy it full. But if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you get the 1-hour trial of the game, so you can download, I think it was about 13 gigs to download and check it out. And it is a walking simulator, and by that I mean L2, R2 to do each leg. You sort of lean forward with the left stick and then do your feet as you go. I put this on and it blew my mind. It's not a game I didn't think anyone would ever make, and I SMS'd you immediately, Bully, and I said, please install this, check it out for tonight's conversation. Mate, did you manage to go hands or feet on with Baby Steps?
I did. I'm interested that they've actually made it an hour-long trial, because I reckon they could have had it a minute trial and I would have uninstalled it. It is. Look, I get it, each to their own, and there might be some people that enjoy this sort of thing, but it is mind-numbingly infuriating the way, like even when you start to get into a bit of a rhythm with the walking, for some reason you could be tapping away, going wrong or right, all the rest of it, and then for some unknown reason you just fall over and then spend 30 seconds just flapping around on the ground. Like it's, I get the idea behind it. I really do. I get the idea behind it, but I think they've just made it too. They've lent too far into that physics-based gameplay to make it enjoyable. Like I said, I've got no doubt that there's some people that will look at it and go, "Oh, this is a fun game." I don't know. I don't know who, but good luck to them. It's funny.
Sorry, I was just going to interrupt because it's on screen now. Here's my pro tip. I finally worked out how to do it, Bully. You need to walk backwards if you're actually struggling. Once I worked out if you pull the left stick backwards and L2, R2, L2, R2, you can actually walk relatively easily. So I think they've just reversed it somehow to make it really challenging when you go forward. But look here, Bully, just L2, R2, hold backwards, up the platforming section and off to the races. Sorry, mate, back to you.
No, but that's pretty much all I've got. It's funny because Devolver Digital is the developers of this one, and they put out some, indie style games in the past that have been actually quite good. And I've seen trailers for this in the past, and it piqued no interest in me whatsoever. And then going hands on with it for, like I said, probably took me 5 minutes, and I just thought, nah, it's not for me. The characters annoying, the gameplay's annoying. It's not for me.
Fair enough, mate. I was honestly at 5 minutes. I'm going to put it down, and then 10 minutes I was going to put it down. I ended up playing for 25 minutes, but I just had to get to this first sort of bonfire. But as you have, mate, I've since uninstalled it off the system. But as I said, it's a free 1 hour trial. Someone out there, it may be your game, so I'd encourage you to check it out if you're already a subscriber. All right, Bully, it's time for this week's Most Wanted. What do you got for us, champ?
The Most Wanted, I think most people have surely got this one on the list, but coming out in about a week's time is Ghosts of G.E.A. Anyone that played the first one, Ghosts of Tsushima, fantastic third-person action-adventure game, obviously set in Japan. It was really a breath of fresh air in terms of an open world and how they went about it. There was no waypoints, there was no overclogging of a map with collectibles. It was basically just if you've never played it, it's the way that it guided you to the next objective or waypoint that you needed to, is that you could hit the button on the controller and these leaves would come up and just point you in the general direction of where you needed to go. So in terms of the world building that they put together, it was fantastic. The story was great as well. It had, elements in the gameplay of different fighting styles, depending on how you wanted. I think there was a lot made of that. I don't think when I played it through, I don't think I found the style that suited my gameplay style and pretty much stuck with that through the whole thing rather than chopping and changing depending on circumstance. So that might have been a bit overdone in terms of when they were selling the original game, but certainly really interested in this one. And much like when we spoke about Borderlands 4 releasing a couple of weeks ago, it'd be interesting to see from my point of view how this looks compared to Ghosts of Tsushima in terms of is it just the same game again, but 4 or 5 years later and updated graphics? Because the original looked fantastic from what I've seen in the trailers. This one looks fantastic as well. So is it just that, or is there gameplay elements? Is there more to it? Have they enhanced the experience and really made it a better experience, even though it was top tier? Ghost of Tsushima was a top tier game to start with. So from my point of view, really, really keen to get hands on with it and see what they've been able to do and improve on and develop over those last couple of years to see, like I said, whether it's just a repeat of an old game or whether it's better than the original.
Yeah, like you, mate, I platinumed the original, big fan of it. I'm sort of as excited for this as I was number one, in the sense of it's like Spider-Man to Spider-Man 2. I wasn't expecting any more than the original Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. And then when they changed a few of the suit dynamics and everything, I was just pleasantly surprised. And I'm holding my expectations at the same level for this. I'm expecting Ghost of Tsushima 1.5, no crazy sort of departures from the first one. And just maybe, hopefully, I'll be surprised at some point if they have added a few new bells and whistles. But as I said, I played them the first one, loved it. So I'm keen to go hands-on, but I'm not holding it above the first one yet. I'm not anticipating it more than I would the first one, as much as I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. What are we? About a week away now, so we'll find out. Hopefully, I'm not sure if we'll be able to go hands on for next week's show, but certainly either next week or the week after, we'll have our thoughts on it, because I'll despite what I keep saying that I'm shuffling day one releases out the window, and I'll just sit on what I've got. I think I've pre-ordered this one, so we'll see how we go.
And you pre-ordered this one with the controller, if I remember correctly, mate.
I do, but annoyingly, I didn't manage to get my hands on the plates for the PS5 Pro. So hopefully, although I did see today that they re-released or they've had a second release of the controller. So fingers crossed that they do the plates as well. I just can't understand, and this is probably Sony to a T. I can't understand why they don't. There's quite clearly a market for it, so sell it. Like it's the plates for both the Slim and the Pro sold out within hours of them being released. So why not just go, well, clearly there's a market for it. Let's pump out another 5,000, 10,000, see how they go. If they get snapped up, well, we'll go back to we'll go back and do another 5 or 10. Like I just don't understand what their thought process is.
Even if it was a pre-order situation, you had to order it a month out, and they waited till they had 10,000 or whatever sitting in the bank ready to go, and then printed them off so they were never producing more than they could sell.
Yeah.
But there are certainly ways they could skin it. I'll never understand why I couldn't get my hands on a 30th anniversary PlayStation 5. Oh, I'm still dark on that one. Come on, Sony. What are you doing? Leaving money on the table.
I'm the same. I know we've spoken about it in the past, but the PS5 Pro, I would have got that. Like I was trying to get the 30th anniversary Pro because they were releasing. I think it released about 12 months after the original. I would have gone and got another Pro and then on sold the original one to make up the cost for it. I don't know. Anyway.
All right, then we'll move on from the most wanted. Bully, tighten up your laces. Let's go kick in the newsroom doors up. Who has the right to remain newsworthy?
So probably PlayStation heavy today because we did get the state of play about 12 hours ago now. One of the things that I didn't see it in the state of play, but one that did get released today as well is that the PlayStation Stars system is I don't think you can redeem the points on it still, but I don't think you can earn any more or get any of the virtual trophies, etc. But what they have come out with is that if you unlock certain trophies within certain games, that it will then allow you to utilize your PlayStation account to purchase items associated with that particular game. So the first one that's come out, and we were just talking about Ghost of G.E.A. So there is 2 items attached to that you can purchase once you've knocked off a certain set of trophies. So there is one that, and obviously I don't know what the requirements of this one are at the moment, but there is one for Mono No Aware, which is a gold trophy. If you unlock that
was rolling credits.
Oh, there you go. So if you roll credits, then you are eligible to purchase a Ghost of Tsushima t-shirt, which I think is $30 US. And then if you go through and platinum the game, then you are eligible to purchase a pin that has the same, like the trophy that's attached to unlocking the platinum. So what would display on your PS5 is replicated on a pin that you can purchase
on screen now.
So you can see that there. Interestingly, it's only a very short time. So you have to have those trophies unlocked before December 31st this year. So you've only really got 3 months to get it. And then you can as I said, you can go through and purchase it. So it's not entirely the same where they sort of give you the items for unlocking the trophy as such, but just for being a fan of the game, or they're putting it up on the PlayStation Store, you actually have to do something for it. You don't get it for free; you have to pay for it. There is a limited amount of countries, from what I can see. So they're saying the US, Canada, Australia, Europe, and then the United Kingdom, and then they're saying outside of that they're going to introduce different areas at a later date without a specified date or what those areas are. So I'm glad to see that Australia's actually included in that, because normally we're the forgotten lepers of the gaming world. So really happy that we've been thrown in there. I can't see why I wouldn't be getting either of those trophies and the platinum. So I'd have to have a look and see whether it's worth getting the T-shirt and the pin down the track. I don't know how much interest you have in having that, Troy.
I'm thoroughly interested. I've unlocked both the trophies required to get them, so I could purchase both. My wallet disagrees with me currently, though. If I come into a win, maybe the pokies or something, bully, I'll be purchasing them. But as much as my heart desires them, the wallet disagrees. I love the look of it. I love the whole system. I think it's brilliant. Bully, what do you reckon? They should require 10 platinums on a profile, and then you could buy the 30th anniversary plates?
Well, I would have thought there would have been something along those lines to start with. Reward the customers that spend the money with your company, but clearly not what they want to do. And I just realized it was the trophies that are attached to Ghost of Tsushima, not Ghost of Yote. I've got both of those. I'll have to jump on and have a look.
Yeah, get into it, mate. Get into it. But of note there on screen, it is 2 to 3 months after you pay for it. So somewhat like a limited runs games, bully. Pay now, and in a few months you might get a present in the mail.
I'm happy with 2 to 3 months. Limited runs normally 12 months. 2 to 3 months, I'll cop that every day of the
week. Very good. All right, mate. What's Story 2 got in store for us?
Story 2. So as I did mention at the start, is State of Play. So from mine, the biggest one that we saw was obviously the last game that they threw up at the end of the State of Play was Wolverine, the extended gameplay trailer, and also a release. So coming about this time next year. Not sure what your thoughts were, Troy.
Sign me up.
I'm probably with you. Sign me up. It was funny though, because the first 10 to 15 seconds of the trailer, I was sort of looking at it going, graphically it doesn't look that great. I saw it looks a bit off. I don't know what it was, but then as it got into the gameplay later on, I thought, oh no, actually, maybe it was just something with what they picked, or the quality of the stream footage that they were putting across. But certainly really enjoyed it. And I really got the vibes of, for anyone that played the PS3 or Xbox 360 game, was X-Men Origins Wolverine. Absolutely loved that game. In fact, went back about a year and a half or so ago and platinumed the game. Really enjoyed it. But it's got a lot of those vibes for me, is that you're thrown into these. They're not trying to overdo what Wolverine is. He's quite clearly just a melee-based, powerhouse of a character. And from what I can see, they're throwing in those elements that you would have seen in Spider-Man, obviously developed by Insomniac as well. But they're throwing in those set-piece elements that you can see on screen there. But from what I can see in the gameplay, it's very much that X-Men Origins Wolverine gameplay style of just hack and slash and throw these, mass amounts of enemies at you and just, use your powers as you see fit. So certainly really hyped for this one, and glad to see. I know you were a bit surprised, I think, when we were texting before, that it was still about 12 months away. To be honest,
knocked me over with a feather. I thought, to
be honest, I was the other way. No,
really?
Well, see, I was the other way. I thought this was still 18 months, 2 years away. So if they're saying this time next year, I thought no, we're years away from this one. So
yeah, okay. Oh well, maybe I'm just a little too excited for it. But let me ask you this one, bully. When was the last time Insomniac didn't knock one out of the park?
Couldn't tell you. Well,
yeah.
the last two series really have been, or the two big series that they've had on the PS4 and the PS5 are obviously the Spider-Man trilogy of games and Ratchet and Clank, and both of those series absolutely amazing.
And go back one more. Insomniac. No.
Infamous.
Infamous. I love both of those, all three of those games as well. I honestly couldn't tell you the last time Insomniac missed. So their name on it, sign me up. Wolverine, one of my favorite bloody superheroes. I'm so excited for this. The big question on my mind is, tell me the claw sounds that kind of come out of that DualSense Edge controller bully. I want to hear it right on my lap when it shing comes out. I'm pumped for this.
And a little rattle in the controller as they come out.
Oh yeah, and the bloody adaptive triggers just starting to fire up some resistance as they pierce the skin. I cannot wait.
You can't have that though, Troy. You'll only get halfway through the first level and you'll be checked out.
I'll put up with the pain for Wolverine. Believe me. Like you, mate, I was such a big fan of that game on 360 back in the day. Sign me up. I'm just sad that it's a whole year. I honestly thought this was coming out before Christmas. I thought they were going to tell us November. I was like, back into November, here it comes.
Oh, no. That would have been massive, especially, it probably didn't work out from that. They couldn't get it going quick enough. But, with GTA 6 being pushed until April next year, like for them to go, we've got the opportunity here. The spaces open up massively because most developers thought that it was coming out later this year, that, everyone wanted to avoid it. So they've sort of planned their releases around this. And, if they had have been able to get it up, but then that sort of leads into a lot of the industry no at the moment with crunch and developer pressure to get things out on time. So I don't know how that would have really worked and whether it would have been detrimental to the end experience. I'm not sure, but certainly, hindsight will say probably a missed opportunity, but it is what it is, I suppose. We wait another 12 months.
I'll happily wait. I'm keen, though. Something I won't wait 12 months for, Bully. News Story 3.
News Story 3. So I threw this one in for you. I know you're a massive fan of Returnal, and this looks, I know it's called Saros. It's, from the developers house, Mark, the same developers that threw out Returnal. I'm not sure how invested I'd be in this one, although to me it actually has me a little more excited than Returnal. I wasn't a massive fan, although I can see the appeal with it, but certainly this, despite the fact that they're saying it's different, I don't know whether they're saying it's in the same universe or whatever it is, but certainly it just looks like Returnal Mark II.
Yeah, well, I think the phrase they used in the State of Play was built upon what we learnt from Returnal. Like, they didn't sort of shy away from it, but it's not a direct sequel. I got the vibe it wasn't in the same game universe or anything. But yes, to your point, a lot of mechanics look straight out of Returnal.
And the one thing I did notice, though, and I know you've platinum Returnal, so you spent a bit of time with it. You can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but there was no carryover from one run to the next in Returnal, whereas I think with this one there is skill sets and skill trees that you can level up and increase that will then flow on to the next run that you have. So it'll make it a little bit easier each time you go through. How that ends up working out, whether it's XP that you then spend or whether you've got to get locate items within the game that you can then use those to level up. I'm not quite sure how that'll work at this stage, but certainly for me that that's one of the games with one of the things with roguelike games that I really look for is that if you're going to have me go on these endless run type things, I really want something that makes me come back to do another run, that you've improved, not just that you've improved your skill set or your knowledge of how the world works, but you've got to make my character better and we've seen plenty of those games along the journey in the roguelike the roguelike genre, as it were. So, whether that draws me in a bit more, I'm not sure. But I know from the moment I started seeing this gameplay and the footage at the start of play, Troy, I know you to be a day one for you.
Oh, yes. I did not have my finger on the pulse. I didn't even know they were building, in essence, Returnal 2. I didn't know it was on the slate. So as soon as I saw this and the first time they opened fire, I'm like, oh, it's Returnal 2. Sign me up. I cannot wait. Gimme more. To your point, Bully, no, nothing in Returnal carried over. The only thing was the unlocks. Like there was, 12 symbols or something on the wall you had to unlock. That was the only thing. Everything else got reset every time. But to Housemarque's defense, they were making an old school arcade game, put another $1 in, you're back at the start. So Returnal 2 very much lent on that sort of arcade history. But not everyone's, a lot of people criticize Returnal for exactly as you said. There's no level, progression that carries over. A lot of people dinged Returnal for that. So it sounds like they've addressed it in this game. So tip of the cap to them. They've heard the feedback, and it sounds like they're doing all the right things. My one question, Billy, is the game director an Aussie? To my ear, he sounded like an Aussie when he was talking a little bit on the state of play this morning.
Sounded like it, but I didn't research into it. And just, I'm not sure if we mentioned as well. So releases March 20th next year. So what'll be about 6 months away from that one.
Yeah, I think I've got about 6 weeks to platinum it before GTA 6 comes out.
Oh, no one's going to be playing GTA 6.
Oh, bully! Outrageous. That is it for the news segment, which brings us through to audience interrogation. Bully, what has been happening in that there YouTube chat, sir?
We've had Tigaro in there, so
hey, Tigaro.
Probably less of the video game talk. He's for those that aren't aware, this coming weekend in 2 days' time is the Australian Football League Aussie Rules Grand Final. My Geelong Cats and the Brisbane Lions battling it out for what is our version of the Super Bowl. I would is probably the best way to describe it. And 100,000 odd people packed into the stadium. Go Cats! And I didn't realise this, but Tigaro is a Brisbane supporter, so we've been a bit of back and forth in the chat over that, so we'll see how we go. And Sean Games jumped in there as well.
Hey, Sean.
He's been keeping an eye on the Tokyo Game Show and let me know that Forza Horizon 6 has been officially announced and will be set into Japan, which I think was pretty well known, but it's coming first. Obviously, it's an Xbox studio game, so coming to Xbox and PC next year, and then potentially a PS5. Well, I assume it will release on the PS5, but we don't have a time frame for the release. Whether they do what they did with Forza Horizon 5, the previous one and set in Mexico, that they
what was that about 2 years later?
Well, that only just come out, didn't it? So I reckon 2.5, 3 years later.
Yeah.
That they released it. So whether it's that same time frame, whether they do a shorter exclusivity deal, or whether they end up just going, we're doing it at the Tokyo Game Show to try and push Xbox, but ultimately we're just going to release it on the same day. Time will tell, I suppose.
Do we know if they've passed single digits sales of the Xbox in Japan yet?
I don't even know what it is for sale in Japan.
Very good. Thanks for the heads up, Sean. Appreciate it. I guess just a minor shout out. It was interesting to see Flight Simulator coming to the PS5. Flight Simulator 24 coming out in 26.
25. It's coming out in
25,
December.
was it?
Yes, yeah, coming out in December. I'll tell you what, though. Damn, it looks good.
Oh, yeah, it does. It does indeed look good. And I've got a PlayStation bloody flight stick sitting over there, so it'll be good to dust that off and fire it up.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure it's right up my alley just to be, flying commercial planes, etc. But it does look amazing.
It does look great. I honestly got about 5 minutes into my first flight when it came out on the Xbox Game Pass and then deleted it promptly off my console. It was a massive install. It was like 120 gig, I think, off the top of my head. And to your point, very slow, very arduous, and not as action-packed as I need to keep me firing. But that'll do it for this week. Bully, excellent work all evening, sir. Thank you so much.
Oh, pleasure as always.
Viewers, thank you very much for watching. We are off. Final question before you go and get into your cat's gear for the big game. What else could you do with Geek Aloud?
You can like it, you can subscribe it, and you'll never miss it.
Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's something. Oh! Old Uncle Donkey. Gee, donkey.